All right, guys. So we are back today. Non-farm payroll unemployment day. Big day for markets. Let's see what it looks like. Jobs report. Jobs, payroll data, and unemployment drops at 8:30. Patients are 4. Let's see what they're expected at. I see a non-farm payroll is expected today at 170K. 170K is what's expected. Employment is expected. I think it's at like what, 3.7%? 3.7. Yeah, 3.7%. So I was right. All right, so again, expectations are 170K for payrolls. Yesterday payroll numbers or Wednesday payroll numbers came in light. We'll put this data up on the screen so everybody can kind of see when it comes out. Yeah, 170K, unemployment expected at 3.7%, 3.7%. Payroll numbers will be really interesting too. If employment comes higher than 3.7, does that mean a sell-off happens? We don't know. I mean, we don't know how the market's going to respond to this, to be honest. Like some of the data the market has shown us recently has showed that the market might not want economic growth. And you know, and so the market might not want economic growth. And if that's the case, you know, if that's the case, we might get kind of an inverse reaction. All right, guys, we got about 100 people here. We don't have any earnings today, right? That starts next week, correct? Yeah, nothing today. Earnings start next Monday. Some of them, at least. Pepsi earnings Wednesday morning or Tuesday morning. Wednesday, nothing really. But yeah, non-farm payroll data expected to come out today. volume has been back though. Like we have seen much better volume recently in terms of the channel and everything like that. Yeah, Coca-Cola with a nasty dip. We might kind of add to this. We're in a little bit of Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola all the way down to 52s, 53s. Let's see if it holds. Yeah, Tlsa dipping down a little bit. You can see Tlsa, there's Apple. Here's the SPY. I mean, we're up a little bit in pre-market for most of the stuff I'm watching too. SPY at 425s. Yesterday turns out to be a pretty flat day overall. I mean, we did resurge back at the end of the day and go green, but the rest of the day was pretty flat. Tlsa. Oh, sorry. Tlsa ended up dipping a little bit in pre-market today. I think it's because they cut prices in the U.S. is what I heard regarding Tlsa. I heard they cut prices. So nice. So treasury bills or something you want to watch today. They're not where they were early in the week, but they're still ripping. If you look at the 10-year. It's at 47.17s for the 10-year index. You can look at like other treasury ETFs and look at those too. Hey, what's up, Roy? What's up, Gia? I mean, it depends on how long you're holding. Whether it's a buying opportunity depends on if you're holding it long term or not. Is news good or bad? Which news? I mean, we don't know until the results come out. Like, we don't know if the news is going to be good, bad, up, down, sideways. Nobody knows. We just don't know how the market's going to respond to it, you know? Nvidia still holding strong. So Nvidia is one of the reasons the market isn't dumping down. You know, look at Nvidia. Nvidia up to almost 450 still. Had a pretty green day yesterday. Nvidia's had a big rise back up. You know, you can see the rise in Nvidia lately. So Nvidia's had a comeback. Been rising up some. Tesla goes to 40. Oh, 240. Okay, that's more reasonable. I was about to say 40. 40 is unlikely. So yeah, do me a favor, bump the like button. Will Exxon continue to sell off? Yeah, Exxon's dumping. Yeah, we'll do a poll real quick. All right, so non-farm payrolls come in higher or lower than expected. We're also going to do a question regarding unemployment. Right, there's the report right there. With non-farm payrolls, so you can go and vote on the poll. I don't know about Exxon though. Yeah, Exxon down a lot. Down pretty heavily. We're still green in it though. Our average price was 106. Yeah, what's up, Hannah? VSME looks like a failed company. IPO. They typically don't come back after they run, and they leave traders holding. Yeah, let me see. Let me take a look. VSME. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a pump and dump. I mean, you could try to ride the momentum, but a lot of the times, like if you look at it, there's not really any pattern in the stock ahead of the dump, right? Like it rips up, but there's no real pattern, you know. Yeah, Coke and Pepsi both down a lot. There was some type of bad news from it. Coke had the badder news, but they're both down pretty substantially. Let me see if there's a reason why. All right, so Walmart suggested that weight loss drugs are impacting food sales. Rising yields could negatively impact dividend companies such as Coca-Cola. So that's why. Oops, there we go. That's better. Again, bump that like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. We're going to get ready to trade today. The dollar's going to be going down, John. That's kind of what happens when the market pushes up is the dollar index dips. That's just kind of how it goes. Dollar index is going to typically, not always, but like usually have an inverse correlation with markets. So it's probably going to drop regardless of any of that, All right, man. See, I'm awake, dude, but it's been a busy time for me, man. Yeah, I'm looking at other economic data. We had a pretty busy week, but next week's an even bigger week, man. Next week, we just got a lot of stuff. So, but yeah, this week. Non-farm payrolls expected 170K today. I'm going to put a timer up as well. Let's get the timer going. Market's up slightly. Market's up slightly. It's not a huge green day, but it's up a little bit. So yeah, market's up some. Again, it's not like a crazy big green day or anything like that. Like it could be better. Could be worse, I wouldn't say it's anything super dramatic. So it's not like we're ripping up huge amounts. We got a lot of economic stuff coming here. Let me check these. So it looks good. Let me get out of that. Got all these alerts. Yeah, send somebody trading view alerts. All right, E-mini's still pushing up though. Look at the SPY up there, 425s. I mean, it's looking better. It's looking a little bit better. Tesla's still low. Again, Nvidia's up there. London session pushed up the Nasdaq. Yeah. Why Rivian tanked so much? I mean, it could be just EV sympathy for Rivian, in my opinion. Like, that's what it sounds like to me. Again, maybe not. I know Tesla's down because of a price cut. From what I'm pretty sure that's right. Like, I'm pretty sure Tesla's down because they had a price cut. Tesla cuts prices of Model 3 and Model Y in the US, and I think that's tanking Tesla right now. Tesla's down to 256.60s. And that might have a sympathy effect on other EV companies, but y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I'm not really sure there, but I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and so I think Rivian moves a little bit with Tesla, and Tesla's down because of the rate cut. And so, but Rivian is, I don't know, when I look at these two charts, they don't look super correlated to me. Like, they don't look super correlated to me. Like, Rivian looks much weaker than Tesla does over the last 24 hours. And so it doesn't look super correlated to me. Again, I don't know. Rivian's just down a lot. Tesla's down a little bit. It's not the worst. Tesla had a flat day yesterday, dipped a little bit in pre-market, still above yesterday's lows. Rivian just dumped yesterday, man. Rivian a couple days ago was at $24 a share, and now it's at 18. So Rivian's losing big percentages, and so I really don't know what's going on there. It might be a separate catalyst. I can look it up. It might be a separate catalyst, but again, I'm not sure. Again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We got about 200 people here right now. When non-farm payrolls come out, we're going to have, over 1,000 for sure. And so again, subscribe, stick around. We're going to cover the payroll data quickly when it drops. Rivian basically taking a $1.5 billion loan after saying their balance sheet was good. Okay. Oh yeah, it's the offering. Oh yeah, so the Rivian's down because they announced an offering yesterday is what it was. I remember that. I forgot about that one. Tesla down after price cuts, about 2,000 per car. Rivian down because of $1.5 billion offering. Yeah, 100%. And again, I always try to tell people this, but offerings are not good. It's number one is dilution, right? That's the easiest way to look at it. It's diluting shares. More shares is bad. More shares of a company. The less volatility the company will have, a lot of the time. Now that's to a specific level. If it's like a really famous stock like Apple, Amazon, or Microsoft or something like that, they can have a lot of shares and still move pretty big. But with smaller cap companies like Rivian you know, which isn't the tiniest company. Like if we look at the market cap, you know, if we look at the market cap, get out Rivian. But yeah, look at the market cap. They got a cap of 17 billion, so they're a mid cap company. They're less than 20 billion in market cap, right? So smaller company, right? And what happens with these smaller companies is like offerings are not good. What an offering signifies here is that they're not making enough money in their everyday business to sustain business, right? They're not making enough money selling cars, so they got to sell shares, right? Which is not a good sign. And I like Rivian. I think Rivian's probably it's the EV company outside of Tesla that I'm the most confident in, but it's still risky. What's up, Ren? Beast mode. Correct me if I'm wrong, please do, but I believe their offering for raising funds was in bonds, which is the worst way to borrow money from investors. Yeah, it was a green note offering. So yeah, it's a bond one. I'm not sure if it's the worst, but it's a green note offering for sure. I saw that. Tesla's awaiting the Cybertruck delivery event. When is that? Ooh. When's the delivery event, dude? When's the date? Tell me as soon. Tell me as soon. When's the date? Okay, it's November. No. Speculation indicates that Tesla might shoot for a November show. All right, so Yaman claims that Tesla already scheduled the date for the Cybertruck event. They saw a Cybertruck-themed apparel being handed out to employees working on an event. Honestly, if that's the case, that'll be huge for Tesla stock, I think. No, I think it's confirmation bias, poet. But maybe. Maybe you're right, bro. Again, I always tell people my bias, and I'm honest about it. My bias is simple. I hear so many freaking people talk about how this year is different. This time is different. The market's just going to turn. It's going to be one of the biggest crashes in history. The little guy is going to rise up and take power from the big man. I hear that constantly, dude. And I'm not saying it's not true. I hope it is, man. Listen, I'm for the little guy, bro. Let him run up. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think the markets are designed in a way now where it's a little bit different than it used to be. Now, we can get pullbacks, but, like, I'm not going to wait for a crazy, Yeah, and I talked to somebody about it yesterday, too. Like, bro, listen. Somebody was arguing with me yesterday, and maybe they're true. They said all empires eventually fail, right? And that's true. They do. All empires eventually fail, right? But we're in the modern age now. And so, like, sure, if you zoom out enough, eventually everything's going to fail. Like, nothing's going to last forever. Nothing does. But using that argument to buy put options is a silly thing. Because, again, if that happens, there's going to be a lot bigger problems than option contracts. Like if the S&P 500 goes to zero, nobody's going to give a crap about option contracts, man. They're just not going to care, dude. They're going to, like, nobody's going to care what the S&P 500 is doing. And so y'all just be careful making crazy predictions like that. Maybe they're true, right? And a lot of influencers post about them because they want clicks, right? They get a lot of clicks. They get the, but just be careful. Well, if we break another level for the S&P, I'll start sweating. Yeah, I mean, but I think when you got to zoom out and look at it, brother, Like, again, here's the trend. We've been in this trend all year. You know, I don't know if we're necessarily going to break this trend, but we've been in this thing for over a year now. You know, dude, what is wrong with my freaking search bar, dude? I want my timer, dude. They're just not going to give me my timer today. Y'all can hear the music, right? You should be able to. I want my timer, dude. Where's my timer at? So let it sit here. But yeah, I mean, the S&P 500 has been in this trend all year. Where'd it go, dude? Where's my timer? Whoa. Whoa. There it is. I gotta find the timer somewhere now. Settings. How do I find the timer outside of the search bar? Anybody got some help? Yeah, I don't know, man. I hope the market goes up. Tesla testing lows right now, though. Is Tesla time for a dip? I'm gonna have to put a different timer up if this one doesn't work. This one usually works really well, though. All right, we're trying to repair the clock. Reset. Where's my clock at, man? All right. Hey, man, you think ELF is a buy? I don't know. I hear a lot of people talk about ELF. But, like, I really don't know, man, what we're going to get there, you know? ELF is a makeup brand, right? All right, so ELF is a makeup brand. Okay, yeah, I mean, their 5-year chart looks good, but it's also just kind of sketchy. To make this freaking tab. All right, guys. No, this was not going to work either. All right, guys, we got a little move up. How so? I just don't trust mega brands, right? Like, again, I don't know enough about the business. And look at this pullback it's been in. And now, granted, the market's been pulling back a lot, and it's had crazy good growth. I just don't trust it, man. Again, I don't know it well enough. It's too much of a... Okay. And again, I'm going to preface what I'm about to say with, like, look, I'm not hating on this at all. Okay, I'm not. Right? But I think companies that make such a big rise very quickly can be vulnerable to, like, pullbacks, like heavy pullbacks. And that's something that we're seeing now. You know, and so in that regard, I'm just skeptical because I simply don't trust it. I think there's risks. You know, I think there's risks, for lack of a better word. And I think it's up a lot over the last year. You know, this thing is up, almost 200% in the last year. That's a lot, man. Good morning, John. All Friday is a good day to trade. Let's see if Nvidia and Apple hold. Yeah, Nvidia is a big, interesting one as well. I'm not saying, and again, I'm gonna clarify this. Pew. I'm not saying ELF doesn't hold, dude. Maybe it does. It's right at the 200 EMA now. It's right at the $100 level, a little bit underneath it. But I'm not saying it doesn't hold, man. I hope it does, dude. I hope you make money. I'm not against it. I'm not saying, and it's very possible that this does hold, you know. But it's also possible it gives back a lot of these gains, you know. So it's just up a little bit too much for me. in my taste. You know, it's just up a little bit too much. All right, is the Cybertruck going to come out this year? Is a question. I don't know. Is the Cybertruck coming out this year, guys? Let me know. All right, so yeah, there's Elf, Rivian, a big one to play. Short the Nasdaq 100. I mean, be careful, dude. Depends on the time frame. 10-year yields trying to slowly return to trend. MRTX moved a lot yesterday. What is that? Yeah, MRTX is big squeeze up though. That's a big move up. Again, I don't know what this is doing, but it's a big move for sure. Where's AMC at throughout all this? AMC back up to 850s, man. We'll see if it holds. You don't want to miss that short on NASDAQ if market turns today, but really hard to go in pre-market. Looks weird. I mean, I'll say this, Johan. Nobody knows what the payroll data is going to do to the markets, what the unemployment rate is going to do to the markets, right? We don't know if the market's going to go up, down, or sideways, especially with the past week of economic data. It's even less known what the markets are going to do based off of this report. Now, we can gamble on it and take big positions because we have FOMO, a fear of missing out, and we don't want to lose things and miss out on things. And I get it, but understand it's incredibly risky and it's basically gambling because nobody knows. Like, these economic reports are very, very nuanced, very difficult to predict, and a lot of the times, like, what is conventionally good is not what we get in terms of reactions, right? Like, sometimes low unemployment will make the market dump down. Sometimes low payroll numbers will make the market go up. You know what I mean? And so, like, we really don't know how the market's going to respond, and taking positions now based off of potential reactions to this data is just incredibly risky gambles that it's not going to give you a consistent edge long term, in my opinion. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong for sure, but again, just be smart, be safe. Again, look at the Q. Look at NVIDIA dump down here. I'm trying to see what's dragging it down. NVIDIA down to 448. You can see the NASDAQ dipping down a little bit. It could be Apple as well. Apple's falling back some. Here's Microsoft. Microsoft's pulling back some, but not the biggest volatility. Again, here's NVIDIA. NVIDIA's down, but it's not justifying this big drop in the Q, so it's got to be something else. It's not Tesla either. Does anybody know what's dropping the Q right now? Like, what sector is moving down is what I mean by that. Bro, Braves fans could be quiet, dude. They got old Ronald Acuna. You know, I like Ronald Acuna too. He's had one of the best seasons in baseball. But Braves fans complaining about playing the 4th seed versus the 6th seed. Bro, they need to just go somewhere, dude. And get Bryce Harper out of the playoffs. Anyways, the Q is down big. Again, we might start trading too. We'll see. We did get a big pullback. Tesla, Apple, Nvidia. Well, I see those dipping, but they're not really dipping like a lot though, you know. I would love if the Phillies beat the Braves. Make the Astros time in the playoffs a lot easier. Yeah, Blue Jays, dude. The Blue Jays, man, they've got the talent, dude. I think Manoah has been a big disappointment to the Blue Jays. Alek Manoah has just not been clutch this year. You know, he got bumped down to AAA and then, you know, came back pretty quick. I thought he should have stayed down in AAA longer. And, you know, the Blue Jays just, they've got great offense, but their pitching staff their pitchers, their bullpen just lacks a little bit of talent there, especially like Manoah was their clutch player. And then he kind of started not performing well. You know, and I love the Blue Jays, man. They're one of my favorite teams, to be honest. Like, they got Vlad Guerrero, they got Bo Bichette, they got, you know, a bunch of good players. But again, they need new pitchers, you know. Meta down, so we can look at Meta. They're at 304s right now. Yeah, the Twins are tough, dude. Correa, dude. It'll be a fun game because we got Carlos Correa, who used to be an Astros player, on the Twins now. He's had a lot of controversy over the last year. And so I'll be happy to see him do well regardless of whether we win or not. I mean, I obviously want us to win, but... yeah, Dodgers are tough, dude. They got Freddie Freeman over there. He used to be on the Braves, too. My daughter's favorite player is Freddie. All right, guys. Q still dipping down a little bit. Tesla dipping down. I can't get my freaking timer to work, dude. I think I've used this one before, this countdown timer. Close. And so what is it? 6:40. So it's 7:40. We got less than an hour. We got about 50 minutes before these numbers come out. We got like 49 and a half minutes. See if I can make this better so I can put this up on screen. My Windows usually gives me a pretty good timer, but for whatever reason they're just kind of struggling. We got 48 seconds, guys. 48 seconds. Yeah. What's your expectations? I just don't want the Dodgers to win. All right, guys. Again, market's up a little bit today. It's slight green day, though. Starting to give it back. You can see the Q, the NASDAQ dipped all the way under the 200 EMA and the volume weighted average price. Looking weaker. If we look at like the S&P 500, the SPY here, Again, SPY down to 425s, although we got back up to basically 426s on the SPY, so we're starting to look a little bit better. And so, yeah, we'll see if we hold here. But again, non-farm payroll day today, team. I got to do a Twitter post. Musk said he might be ready to step down. Yeah, but Musk is also smart. He knows that might influence Tesla. Here's Tesla too at 256. Yeah, I'm watching the 10-year. 10 years at about 4.746% yield. You know, if we look at the 10-year chart, yeah, the 10-year yield is ripped up. I mean, here's a chart of 10-year yield over the last 20 days. Or no, I'm sorry, over the last 5 days. So it's hovering right around 4.4 3/4. So right around 4 3/4 right here is where the 10-year is. You know, again, a lot of the time these can have like inverse relationships with markets because they kind of compete with each other. But the more you zoom out, the less they're inverse, the more they follow each other. Is there a discount code for Chart Prime? You can get it for 40% off if you use my link. So you can check out the link in the description. But yeah, if you want to check it out. Yeah, we got about 400 people here. Again, bump that like button, team. We appreciate it. So yeah, expectations are for 107. We come in higher or lower than expected. Yeah, jobs data is really interesting. Unemployment jobs today as well. So again, just jobs report coming out. And do we come in higher or lower than expected? We're gonna do a Twitter poll as well. We also have unemployment data coming out too, but what's up, Steve? Tesla's really dragging the market. Tesla's down after a price cut. Disney lately? I'm actually green on my Disney trade. Like, we're in 30 shares. We're green. I mean, that's nice. So yeah, we're green on Disney. Apple ripping up a lot today. That's good. AMC back up too, which is better than it was. Yeah, dude. Cybertruck would be OP. Too much job data. Well, I think the market's hanging on the job data this week. PayPal, Tesla, Nvidia today. Hold for a week. Thanks. I mean, I could. I'm not sure if I would want to. You know. So there's the SPY ripping up again. I'm not sure if I would want to hold anything for a week right now. Not based off of data, because again, next week's incredibly volatile, right? So next week we got CPI, PPI, FOMC minutes report, bank earnings, Pepsi earnings. That's a lot of stuff coming out next week, and not even including like jobless claims and the other smaller reports. And so next week's a busy week. A lot of economics, not a lot of economic reports coming out, and so yeah. All right, we got like 45 minutes before payroll numbers, guys. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Will we get a Santa rally this year, man? That's what everybody starts talking about as we get closer to November, is a Santa rally. Again, NVIDIA is going to help guide it whichever way it goes, right? NVIDIA right around 450s currently, just under 450s now. And again, NVIDIA has been a crazy influence over markets, big moves up and down. If you look at NVIDIA over a 20-day chart, it crashed down to 400, dumped the market down, and then basically bounced all the way back to 450s, basically where it was, a couple weeks ago. So very volatile stock, but NVIDIA is something that you should watch if you want to gauge what the market might do. The FOMC minutes report is next week. Again, CPI is going to be a big influence. PPI, big influence. Earnings start next week with bank earnings on Friday with JP Morgan and a bunch of other ones. And so, yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on next week. Hey, what's up, Wesley? Yeah, Roblox. I'm in Roblox call option, but I guess my Greeks are not good enough. But I got a $30 call option on Roblox. It's funny because it's like I'm in this trade, but like I'm in this trade, but I'm still down a lot, even though we're basically right at my strike price, and we have like 3 weeks to go. But I guess the Greeks are bad. I got 2 bundles, 14 days left. Where do I see my Greeks? I'm trying to find my Greeks here. View trades. Market depth. Honestly, if I really want to, I could just exercise the freaking call option, dude. I could just say, give me 30 call, give me a 200 Roblox shares. I could probably afford it too if I really want to. Let me see. Bro, am I just not gonna be able to pull anything up today on my freaking screen, dude? All right, so settings. All right. Troubleshoot. All right, guys. Again, NVIDIA bouncing right at that previous close. The SPY popping back up a little bit too. All right, guys. Yeah, guys. So again, we got the SPY bouncing up. The SPY is right between the volume weighted average price and the 200 EMA. Big level here to watch. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Rivian being very volatile. I thought end of the year's tax loss harvesting, and we sell through December. Sometimes we get what's called a Santa rally, though. It really depends. Yeah, I'm trying to fix the search and indexing here, but we got some type of error. Hey, brother, just drop the kids. Catch me up. What time will job data? Job data is coming out in about 30 minutes, about 36 minutes to be exact. We got non-farm payroll data expected at 170K, unemployment at 3.7%, 3.7% for unemployment data. So it's a pretty big release. I mean, it'll influence markets some, at least for sure. On your crypto channel, are you guys going to give your thoughts on Chainlink partnerships with Swift? Probably. We'll talk about it whenever we do another crypto show. All right, guys. There we go. Search indexing. This should fix it. SPY back under the 200 EMA. 425 seems to be all right, so I think the search application is getting reset here. Again, SPY dipping down to 425s. Okay, look, I think it fixed it. Let's see. It did fix it, dude. Okay, look. Shout out to Windows, bro. Windows did it. All right, guys, we got 35 minutes here. I'm going to put the timer up because the timer hadn't worked historically. So we got about 34 and a half minutes, actually. So, again, 35 minutes until 8:30. We got the timer fixed. Shout out to Windows. SPY dipping down under the 200 EMA and the volume weighted average price. So the market is dumping down a little bit as well. Hey, man, do you live stream a lot when important news drops? Yes. Yeah, we live stream every morning, but mostly but the morning streams will get okay views, but we get a lot of people here whenever we get economic reports coming out. Can you briefly touch on the potential reaction from either side of the non-farm payroll expectation? Yeah, so the thing to understand about this, right, is that earlier this week, the market has not wanted to see economic growth, right? So the market has not loved economic growth this week, right? It's specifically jobs. So more jobs has caused negative reactions in markets, basically pretty consistently all week. Okay, we know this because we can look at the historical reactions this week in terms of JOLTS report on Tuesday tanked the market. You know, the JOLTS report came out showing more jobs than expected. And the market obviously did not like that and dipped a lot on Tuesday. Wednesday, the market bounced back a little bit because we had what's called the non-farm employment changes, the prelim jobs data, right? So the prelim jobs data came out on Wednesday and it was much lower than expected. So we had much less jobs than expected from the prelim jobs data. And what happened on Wednesday, the market pushed up a lot. You know, yesterday, jobless claims numbers came in higher than expected, I believe. or no, jobless claims numbers came in lower than expected yesterday. And what happened at 8:30? The market fell. And so one thing the market is showing us pretty consistently is that it does not want more jobs. More jobs, probably because of inflation fears. Here's when the report came out yesterday. If you look at this report, so again, the jobless claims numbers, which again showed much less people filing for unemployment, basically much more people working, is what jobless claims showed. This report came out here, and you can see the big, massive dip down in negative reaction from that. And so one of the things that we're seeing, at least in short-term reactions, is that the market does not want more jobs and more work. Excuse me. What that means is that the market does not want more jobs, probably because of inflation problems. Because again, you got to understand the whole procedure of the Fed, right? The Fed is raising rates to discourage spending. That's why the Fed's raising rates. They want to discourage spending. So with that in mind, right, with that concept in mind, the Fed wants to discourage spending. That's discouraging spending discourages inflation. With that in mind, though, more people working means what? Right? It means more people with money. More people with money means what? More spending. More spending is bad right now, and the market does not like it. And so that's another nuance to have into consideration with whenever the unemployment numbers come out, right? Unemployment drops, expectations for that 3.7%, 3.7%. And so, yeah, that's basically what it is right now in terms of what the market wants, what the market doesn't want, what the market fears, what the market might potentially react to in terms of today's data. And again, it's still unlikely that we're going to raise rates the next cycle. If we look at the CME watch tool, it's just pretty unlikely that we're going to raise rates. If we look at this, 76% of people think we're still going to skip or pause the next cycle in November. Only 24% roughly people think we're going to raise rates. We're actually going to raise rates. Another thing that's been dragging the market is treasury yields. And again, you got to understand, excuse me. You got to understand that these are competitive with S&P 500. It's all inflation hedges, right? So the whole reason you're doing it is to keep up with inflation. That's why you invest in things. That's why you invest in bills. That's why you invest in that's why you invest in bills. That's why you invest in the S&P. That's why you invest in real estate. That's why you invest in gold. And so, yeah, yield is up a lot. Yeah, surprise rate hike would be bad. Anything that's a shock is going to be bad, but I don't think they're going to shock us, right? I think we're going to know what they're going to do we still got some time. Like we still got, a month plus until the next rate hike decision. The FOMC minutes report does drop pretty soon, but we still got a month plus until the next decision. And so like in that regard, we got time. Also, guys, vote on the poll right now. Here's our Twitter poll right now. There's our Twitter poll live. Again, so if you want to vote on our Twitter poll and let us know what you guys think they're going to do for the non-farm payroll numbers, you can vote on that poll right there. Don't forget, Powell was very hawkish that unemployment below 4% was bad, meaning more tightening, more. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we just don't want more jobs, right? The Fed does not want more jobs because more jobs is bad. All right, so the SEC is launching an investigation into Elon's purchase of Twitter. Ooh. All right, guys. All right, again, NVIDIA just cracked under 447 here. We still got 30 minutes. Nvidia just cracked under 447s. And so it'll be interesting to watch what Nvidia does for the rest of this year, right? What Nvidia does. Since 2020, the price of orange juice, OJ, is up a massive 315%. Orange juice prices have jumped by over 100% this year alone. All right, so again, price of the Model 3 fell to 39K, 38,990. Price of the Model Y fell to 48,490. All right, guys. Again, SPY under 425, under VWAP, under 200 EMA. It's still got about 30 minutes. What's the issue with gold? Why is it tanking so bad? Well, I mean, it's going to be related to oil, Wesley, and a lot of other. There's a bunch of nuance behind gold right now. Gold's not really taking that bad. I mean, it's been dropping over the last 10 days for sure. Like, it's down a lot over the last 10 days, but it was up a lot as well. I mean, nothing's going to go straight up, man. And I think people have unrealistic expectations for investments. So, like, if you look at gold here, right, here's a yearly chart. Gold's still pretty green on the year, man. People act like the market's just going to go like this, you know. And then very rarely does markets do that. Like, even people are acting all doom and gloom on the SPY right now. They're acting like we're just in market crash territory, right? We're like, this is the trend on the year. This is the last 52 weeks. And so, we're nowhere near that. The market's not going to go straight up. It never does. And it's all good, Wesley. I'm not really talking about you and when I say people act a certain way. I'm just saying gold is still up a lot on the year. Now, remember, it started off back last November at 1600s, right? So it's still at 1800s now. Was at 2000s before. So, yeah, non-farm data, super interesting. All right, so we asked people on Twitter, non-farm payrolls dropped this morning. We got the JOLTS report as well. Why is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 800K? They've got to be talking about, like, not Texas. They must be talking about, Cali, basically. Cali, Colorado, New York. Those three places, hella expensive right now. Again, Tesla down a lot. Again, Tesla mostly down from a price cut. And it's on their highest selling models too, right? So their biggest selling model, they cut the price down, right? And I think a lot of people are seeing that as a bad thing because if sales are going great, they're not going to need to cut prices, What is that plane doing, man? Do planes have the tech to just sit there now? Whew, dude, 30-year mortgage rates up 8.5%. It's bad for real estate, dude. All right, guys. Again, we got 22 minutes, 23 minutes. I pay $1,600 for a one-bedroom apartment in Colorado Springs. Honestly, $1,600 ain't that bad, dude. Yeah, but you go to Colorado Springs is different than Colorado, or than places like Boulder. You know what I mean? Like, it's just different. Like, you go to Denver. I mean, Colorado Springs might be. Colorado Springs is like cheap relative to like Denver, Boulder, Aspen. You know, it's not super cheap, but like it's cheaper. Meta's on the verge of a breakout. Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, we got 22 minutes left. 22 minutes. We got about 600 people here. So again, slap that like button, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Let's keep the growth up. Yeah, for sure, Sean. I see that. A one bedroom in LA is around 3K plus. Yeah. And that's like a shack for sure. All right, so Barclays analyst says that only a stock crash can rescue bonds. He says the Fed will remain net seller of treasuries, term premium to rise. Investors may favor domestic bonds as yields increase overseas. Popeyes, bro, the battle of the goats. Popeyes has overtaken KFC as the #2 chicken chain in the U.S., according to CNBC. Honestly, I'm a Popeyes guy, dude. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and so like Popeyes definitely better than KFC. KFC is, not that great. Popeyes is good. Popeyes even the boneless chicken is good. So I got to go with Popeyes too. Popeyes or KFC? Let me know in chat. All right, so again, the Model Y long range price in December of 22 was 65.99 thousand. October 2023, it's 48.5 thousand, minus 25% in price from the Model Y from October of this year back to December of last year. It's down 25% in price. You know what? I don't understand. This is something I truly don't understand. Like, everybody's like, ooh, like Pablo Picasso. Like, wow. Like, look at Pablo Picasso, right? But, bro, this looks like a drawing my 12-year-old or my 10-year-old son would do. You know what I mean? Like, this looks like a drawing like a kid would do. And everybody's like, ooh, Pablo Picasso. It's like, dude. It's kind of like wine tasting to me, right? Like, every time I've ever tasted wine, it all tastes the same to me. I literally know no difference. Like, people are like, ooh, you taste blah 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 with wine, and I'm just like, dude, it all tastes exactly the same to me. As long as it's the same color. Red wine all tastes the same. White wine all tastes the same to me, man. Maybe I'm just not civilized. I don't know. All right, guys. Non-farm payroll data. Tlsa dipping down under the low of the day here. If we look at the SPY, right? SPY at 425s, 425s. When I was a kid in New Orleans, my granddad drove us to... Churches is all right. I like Churches. Popeyes is better, though. They say McDonald's is recession-proof. Maybe. Yeah, that's a lot, Sean. Depends on where you're at in Washington, D.C. 2-bedroom costs $4K. So if payrolls come in higher, I don't think the market wants higher payroll numbers. I think the market is scared of high payroll numbers. I think if payroll numbers come in super high, market's not going to like that. I think the market fears more jobs right now. And I think more jobs is bad. More people working, more people spending is going to be interpreted as a negative right now with the market, especially with how the market has shown us this past week with JOLTS data tanking the market when it came in, more jobs. Prelim non-farm data came in low, causing bump ups in markets. But again, like, okay, so if you've never watched these reports, you might think, hey, prelim payroll numbers came out Wednesday, and the market reacted very positively to lesser payroll numbers, right? And so if they're prelim payroll numbers, maybe that means today we get lesser non-farm data. And that's an understandable, that's understandable logic. You know, it really is. It's understandable logic. The problem is that it's really not like that. And in fact, I've seen lately with non-farm data as well as the prelim non-farm data, I've seen wild differences in both the reaction to high or low numbers. Like sometimes the prelim data will cause negative reactions to more jobs, and then the actual non-farm payroll data will have positive reactions to more jobs, right? So both in terms of like how the public responds to this report, as well as the actual numbers themselves. Sometimes the prelim numbers will come in super low, and then the actual payroll numbers will come in super high. And so I wouldn't really use the prelim payroll data that came out Wednesday as a gauge, which remember, it did come in much lower than expected, caused a big bump up in markets. The market pushed up a lot because prelim data came in much lower than expected, right? And so again, we don't really know how the market's going to respond here. What I will say is it's better to just react. It's more so his history. Yeah. Wasn't he like a bad dude though? Like, didn't he like abuse people, like spouses and stuff like that? Again, that's what I heard. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Well, yeah, Oliver. I don't know, man. I think with wine, dude, I think half the time they're just trying to sound cool. You know, I think they enjoy drinking it for, inebriation reasons, and so they just kind of justify it by acting civilized and, ooh, this wine is better than this wine. And maybe there is good and bad wine. Maybe I've just never developed a taste, but again, it all tastes the same to me. I'm not a big drinker though. Like, I don't really drink much. Yeah, pawn shops, I bet, are pretty recession proof. Does graph go up or down? Prelim data were 65% lower, which is huge. So that is my expectation. If lower, if it was not that huge surprise, then either way. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Tesla's still cracking lows down here. And we still got 15 minutes, guys. 15 minutes. No, that's not. You're thinking of somebody else. That's not Picasso, dude. You're thinking of Van Gogh. Vincent Van Gogh is who you're thinking of, the ear guy. That's how my kids differentiate. Van Gogh, crazy, cut his ear off. Picasso, just bad dude that draws little, Yeah, I can't get it. I don't know. Anyways, again, Meta, very strong year. Meta was at $88 back at the same time last year. In October of last year, Meta was at 88 bucks. Now it's at $305, over 300 bucks. Tesla breaking lows again. They cut price on their best selling models for Tesla, and the market does not like that. Again, we can also look at Nvidia. A big heavy influence over markets is Nvidia. Again, Nvidia cracked 446s, looking pretty weak. Still dumping down a lot. No, I didn't see that one, Daniel. Yeah, I know bottled water is definitely just a sketch. Like, bottled water is definitely just a sketch. All right, guys. Yeah. Did they give a reason for the price cut on Tesla? Is Amazon releasing something today? Again, is Amazon presenting? Look at Nvidia dip though. Nvidia is going to be a heavily weight on markets. It's number 4 weighted stock in both the S&P and the Nasdaq, but even more so than that is it's just up so much, and it's such a big mover of markets this year. You know, Nvidia is one of the reasons the market made its big run earlier in the year, and then it's also one of the reasons the market made its big pullback later on this year. And so Nvidia, a big thing to watch, important one to watch. We got about 700 people here. And so, hey, slap that like button if you haven't already. We appreciate it. We got 10 minutes. Well, I'm a big kombucha person. I believe in kombucha. You know, because again, you got to think about what's natural to humans, right? Like what's natural to humans, like what's healthy to humans is what our ancient ancestors had access to, right? And I've talked about this a lot before, but that involves like think about what's superfoods, like berries, like right, blueberries, superfood. Why? Because our ancient ancestors walked around picking it, right? It's the least foreign thing to our bodies, causes the least amount of inflammation, and reduces inflammation because it's not foreign. Cancer is ultimately caused by inflammation. Acne is caused by inflammation. A lot of illnesses, most illnesses, in fact, are caused by inflammation in one way or another. And so the foods that reduce inflammation are superfoods that our ancient ancestors had access to, like blueberries, strawberries, stuff like that, right? What they did not have access to is what causes inflammation. It causes the body to inflame as a response, and that's like processed sugar. No access to that. White flour, our ancient ancestors had no access to that, and so those are the things that are the most unhealthy for humans. And so, with all that said and out the way, kombucha makes sense, right? Because it's like our ancient ancestors, like sometimes what they were drinking was a little fermented. Sometimes what they were eating was a little fermented. And so in that regard, it reduces inflammation in our stomachs. At least that's the logic of it. And again, it makes perfect sense. So SPY dipping down a little bit, NVIDIA dipping down to 445s. So we're at 445s now. We'll see if we hold. But again, NVIDIA dipping down a lot. The SPY right around the previous closing price. I think the whole market is kind of waiting for these data reports to come out. I think, but yeah, that's just mostly because they didn't have antibiotics, though. So they just didn't have antibiotics at the time. Yeah, again, higher payroll equals more inflation problems, more spending is what it means. And so that's what the market does not want right now. Again, we got 8 minutes left, 8 minutes left. NVIDIA bouncing back, SPY bouncing back with it. We're right under 425s, under the 200 EMA on the SPY, under the VWAP on the SPY. If we look at the NASDAQ here as well, again, the NASDAQ at 359, 20s. It's a healthy pullback, yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I mean, people were dumb back then. I mean, just literally dumb. They just, I mean, not dumb. They just didn't know any better, right? So they used to just let blood leak as a form of like purifying the body and like just did all this dumb stuff, dude. You know, and so there's a lot of reasons that lifespan wasn't super high back then. Once antibiotics came out in the 40s and 50s, lifespan increased dramatically from it. All right, guys. Anyways, NVIDIA at 445s, Q at 359s. Will the market go up or down here? Looking at our poll numbers right now, guys. Again, we got about 700 votes. 41% think higher. 28% think lower. 17% think as expected. 14 honest folks said, I don't know. Yeah, NVIDIA sitting under 450s at 445s. Again, let's see if it holds this level. NVIDIA's still up a lot, though, the last few days. So even with this dip, we're still okay. Oh, there's a lot of reasons for that, T, you know. One of them certainly antibiotics and the ability to cure infections. You know, the infections were very dangerous back in the day because even like a small cut could spiral and snowball into something much, much worse. And so people didn't know how to work with them, you know, so there's a lot of reasons. But again, we're going to talk about the market, guys. We got 5 minutes until payroll numbers come out. Yeah, the dollar index is usually going to have an inverse correlation with markets, right? So if the market pushes up, the Dixie's going to move down, and you can kind of see that pretty consistently when you zoom out. It's not always like that. Again, gold is an interesting one to watch today too. Gold sitting at the 1800s right now. We're at about 1830s, 1820s. Again, 4 minutes, guys. 4 minutes before payroll numbers. Be ready here. We got about 900 people here, guys. Slap that like button. Again, we're going to put up Tlsa here. Again, Tlsa announced a price cut today, which did have a pretty negative impact on everything. In EVs, some tech, Tlsa with the big drop after they cut prices on their two biggest selling models. Now, Tesla's down because of the price cut news. Rivian is down because of the offering yesterday. But again, they announced the offering for Rivian yesterday, and you can kind of see Rivian started tanking all the way back since yesterday in pre-market, right? If you look at what Tlsa did yesterday, Tlsa mostly had a flat day. You know, it ended pretty much neutral in the day, where Rivian had a very red day. Tlsa only started to dip this morning, early or late yesterday, when they announced the price cuts on their two most popular models. That is why Tesla's down today. Again, if it was following Rivian, it would have had a really red day yesterday because Rivian announced the offering. It was a bond offering, green note offering. It announced it yesterday in pre-market. All right, guys, 3 minutes, 3 minutes. All right, guys, we got 3 minutes. Be ready. Tesla's starting to bounce up a little bit. Again, SPY still testing that 200 EMA. The NASDAQ right here as well. Again, we're at about 425s. About 425s on the SPY. See if we hold. Again, vote on the poll. Will this cause a good or bad reaction in markets? I really don't know. Again, I think it depends on what the numbers come in. I think if payroll numbers come in really high, the market's going to go down. And I think if payroll numbers come in really low, the market's going to go up. Unemployment is also expected at 3.7% today. That's relevant for this stuff too. All right, guys. Hey, what's up, comma? All right, guys, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. We got over 1,000 people here. You want to make sure you're, again, you want to make sure your live button looks like this. Make sure you're fully caught up on the stream. If it's not red, if you don't have the red circle next to live here, that means you're delayed. You want to click it. Make sure you're live, caught up. We got a minute and a half left. Definitely starting to see better volume today in, definitely starting to see better volume today in October. You know, September sucked. It was slow. All right, guys, here we go. Non-farm payrolls expected at 170. Unemployment expected at 3.7%. We got all of these ready, waiting here. Here we go. Less than a minute. Less than a minute. Yeah, my timer's a little bit off, so I'm going to close this. Less than a minute. Look at the SPY, or look at Tesla rip up a little bit. Here's the SPY on the right. We can also see what gold and the dollar index is doing here. All right, guys, here we go. 40 seconds. All right, team. 20 seconds, 20 seconds. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up. Five seconds. 5 seconds. Again, look at Tesla rip. SPY still dipping down. Here we go. And here's the report right here. There's time. All right, so we had average hourly wages for Canada come out. Still waiting on the actual unemployment numbers. Market is down big. Sorry, guys. I'm going to mute the music because... all right, non-farm payrolls came in at 336,000, way higher than expected. Market is dumping down here, way higher than expected non-farm payrolls. Unemployment came out higher than expected. So higher unemployment, twice as many payroll numbers than expected at 338 or 336 versus 170,000. Way higher payrolls than expected. Way higher payrolls than expected. Again, all the way at 336,000 for payrolls, way higher than expected. And as I suggested, the market did not like this at all. Market is falling down big on this report. Again, way higher payrolls than expected, higher unemployment than expected as well. And yeah, the market did not love this at all, has dropped drastically from this report. As we said it would if the payroll numbers came in super high. And then again, unemployment came in at 3.8 versus 3.7% expected here. And so a big drop down to 421 on the SPY, big dips, big red action in markets. Crazy dip. And again, here's the numbers right here. Big drops in everything. You can see the SPY falling down fast. Again, unemployment numbers coming in much, or payroll numbers coming in much worse than expected here. Much worse than expected. Let's see where we hold, guys. Does the market bounce back today? Again, I'm going to put this up on screen again. 3.7% for unemployment. Non-farm payrolls came in 336 versus 170,000. Definitely red report here. Definitely not what the market wants to see here for sure. Jobs report came in much worse than expected. Big dips and everything. Behold, 421s roughly is the new low. Tesla all the way down to 253. Everything falling down fast here. Gold dipping down quickly too. Again, definitely a red market right now. Nvidia down to 440s. Big dips and everything. Again, we cover this very quickly, guys, very quickly. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We cover this data very fast every weekday right here on stream. We don't sell a course. We don't sell a service. We don't claim to be experts. We give away everything for free. And so again, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Thanks so much. We got about 1,300 people here live watching this. But yeah, man, again, payroll numbers way higher than expected, 336. Well, there was twice as many, basically, non-farm jobs. Yes. Again, we'll see if we hold at 421s. Again, this is conventionally good. This is why, again, I told you guys the market and the nuance of the market, right? This is conventionally good. Okay, just to put this into perspective, right? So these payroll numbers means economic growth. This means economic growth, right? The problem is that the market fears inflation right now. The market's scared of inflation. It's scared of higher prices, right? So when the market is scared of higher prices, it reacts negatively to this. Same thing with unemployment. Unemployment might be seen as a positive, coming in slightly higher than expected, although it's pretty much neutral. But yeah, just be smart, guys. And again, if you haven't already, check out TopStep. TopStep is a funded account program for futures. If you want to day trade this, you can day trade essentially the SPY in futures. If you're struggling to day trade, or if you're struggling to get around the PDT rule, a lot of people go with the cash account or try to day trade penny stocks with the cash account. It just doesn't work that well. You can actually have freedom to day trade in futures. There's no PDT rule, and you can day trade the E-mini, which is the S&P 500, the SPY, basically. You can day trade the NASDAQ, which is basically the Q. Currencies, gold and silver, patterns are very similar to stocks, but there's no PDT rule, right? And TopStep is a funded program for futures. Number one, they're a sponsor of mine, so I'm definitely biased in their favor because they pay me money. But what they do is they give you a demo and they test your skill. And so the base one, they give you a 50K demo. If you can hit 3K in profit, if you can hit their profit target without hitting their max loss, they fund you the same amount. So if you pass the test of the base one, you get 50K in funding with a 90% split. And so it's the best of both worlds. Limited risk. It only costs $49 a month. If you lose, you're only out $50 basically. But if you're good enough to pass it, you still get 90% anyway. So it's very similar to putting up the money yourself, but with less risk. And just taking these challenges builds your skill. It's a lot cheaper to do this than put the money up yourself and risk that. And I know I lost thousands when I first got started. So this is a great way to learn how to trade with less risk. And if you're good enough to pass it, you still get a lot of the rewards. You get to keep your first 10K. You get to keep 90% after that. They've been around for over a decade and they pay out millions and fund thousands of traders a year. But again, I am biased because they pay me money. And so, of course, they're a sponsor of mine. But if you want to check them out, here is the link. Great way to help support the channel. We've been funded on multiple accounts over the last couple months. Again, SPY all the way down to 420s. Let's see if it holds right here. SPY all the way down to 420s. Again, let's see if it holds. Yeah, Powell's not going to be happy with these numbers for sure. Powell's going to hate these numbers, dude. He's just not going to like these numbers at all. Over 1,000 people here. Get those likes up. John really helps us digest this data. Yeah, I mean, we try to give you guys the nuance of it. We told you guys ahead of this report that if payroll numbers came in high, the market was almost certainly going to tank, right? And that's exactly what we got. Payroll numbers came in hot. Market tanked. And again, next week we got a gang of other reports too, and we cover this stuff fast, right? We get over 1,000 people here because we cover it quick. And so next week, man, is a much bigger week than this, right? Like this is going to be peanuts compared to CPI next Thursday, right? CPI drops on Thursday. That's a big report. It's the consumer price index. It is literally the inflation, current state of inflation in CPI. It's the consumer price index. It's how much prices are rising for consumers. That drops Thursday. We also have PPI, which is producer price index. The other side of that drops on Wednesday. We got the FOMC minutes report. I believe it's either Tuesday or Wednesday as well next week. And so we got a lot of stuff going on. Powell speech tonight? No, I don't think so. Unless I'm missing something. There's no Powell speech tonight, right? I know there was last week. We had the teacher conference that he did, but should correct by the open. We'll see, man. We're dipped under 420. We're back over 421s. We could be in a worse spot here, though. And so, again, the market did not like this jobs report. We could be in a worse spot, though. Yeah, it's definitely bad, Matt, for sure. Like, this is definitely not good. Yeah, it's definitely not good. So wait, what happens tonight? It's not Powell. All right, again, unemployment 3.8%, payroll numbers 336. Yeah, we got Fed Waller speaking at noon. Yeah, I don't see any Powell speech. Not tonight. It's Friday. We ain't got no job, you know. Nah. All my I'm sure that movie's not even like culturally relevant anymore. That's like a movie I watched growing up, but it's probably not even relevant anymore. Yeah, I mean, this is a big drop for sure. It's not a huge drop. I mean, it could be worse, to be honest, but it's definitely not good. And so, yeah, guys, do you guys think we pop back up? No. Thank you, Robert. Some of you guys get the reference. Economy is slowing down and more people are working. Does it mean more people are just working for AI? Nah. It means more people are spending. Probably means more people need to work, is what it means. All right, guys. So again, Tesla at 253s roughly. SPY still battling that 421, 420 level. All right, so 730 million worth of Bitcoin and ETH options expired yesterday. All right, team. Honestly, let's see if the market can bounce back today. Payroll numbers disappointing. Everybody came in at much higher than expected. Unemployment came in high as well. But don't get it twisted. The market is not happy about unemployment. The market is not happy about payroll numbers coming in high. It means economic growth, right? And so, of course, like politicians are going to say, oh, look how much we're helping the economy. Payroll numbers came in much higher than expected. You know, they're going to try to flex on everybody with those numbers. But again, most people that understand the economy right now understand that these high payroll numbers are not good, and the market reacted as such, right? The market dipped down pretty heavily. Now, it could have been worse, to be honest. We're only down like $2 a share on the SPY, right? So we're down 0.5%. So, I mean, you know, we're down 0.5% in the SPY. It could be a lot worse. But the day's not fully started yet, especially stock market action. Like, the market hasn't really started yet. We still got the whole market open to go. And, yeah. All right, guys. Again, non-farm payroll data coming out. Yeah, they always say the numbers leaked. And again, the market is back up to 421.30s. I hope it bounces back, but I'm definitely not saying it is. Gold down a lot too. Gold down to 1826 right now. No, it doesn't take into account that. But I mean, that's why it's bad though. The public takes that into account, Sean, right? So Sean says, does the non-farm number take into account people needing 2 jobs to afford things because of inflation, right? The public certainly takes that into account. That's why we reacted negatively to this non-farm payroll number, right? That's why twice as many payrolls is seen as a negative, because what does that mean? It means more spending, more people needing to work in a time in which inflation's bad and prices are high. The market fears spending. And so whatever contributes to spending is going to be interpreted as a negative short term, at least in markets, right? So payroll numbers coming in high, people are going to hate that. Unemployment numbers, right? Like, so high unemployment is probably going to be seen as a positive right now. Depends on what the market is fearing. If the market's fearing a recession, right, it wants economic growth, GDP growth, higher payroll numbers, lower unemployment. Those are all things where when the market is conventional and fears recessions, you know, the market's going to react favorably to those type of things. If the market is fearing an inflation situation, right? If the market's fearing inflation, it's going to want the opposite of that. So it's going to want higher unemployment, lower payroll numbers, lower GDP numbers, less economic growth and stimulus. And so that's basically where we're at now, right? And again, if you look at what the Fed's doing, the Fed's pausing or skipping, right? Which is probably contributing to these fears and reactions and the nuance of the market in which the market fears spending as much. Because what a pause or skip means, it means less damage. So we talk about this all the time, but I'll say it again because it's important to understand the procedure of the Fed and the markets in general, like what they do, what the purpose of these things are, right? So the Fed raises rates to discourage spending, right? So by raising the federal funds rate, it makes banking more expensive because of bonds and prices. And so by raising the federal funds rate, it makes banking more expensive, and banks in turn raise interest rates to consumers to compensate for that, right? So basically, when the Fed raises the federal funds rate, indirectly it raises interest rates, right? When interest rates go up, people stop spending as much. And when people stop spending as much, prices drop because businesses have to lower them in order to remain competitive because spending is dried up, right? That's the procedure of the Fed. So when the Fed raises rates aggressively, it means inflation's bad and they want to do more to combat inflation, but it's a balancing act. And so more aggressive rate hikes short term typically means a worse short-term market response, but more long-term damage to inflation. And so with all of that said, right, when the Fed chooses not to raise rates, like we did this past time, we skipped or paused or whatever you want to call it. When the Fed chooses not to raise rates, what does that mean? It means less fear short term, but also less damage to inflation. And so less damage to inflation means the market fears inflation. And thus we get these reactions that we have over the last week with JOLTS numbers coming in high and the market tanking, with prelim payroll numbers coming in low and the market ripping up. And then finally today's non-farm payroll numbers coming in super high, twice as much as they should have, and the market dumping down a little bit. Right. So that's kind of the nuance of the market and how you can kind of gauge what the market might be fearing versus, wanting. And again, that's what we see right now. We see the market fearing spending. They don't want more spending. More spending is ultimately seen as a negative. And, that's why we're here. Yeah, let's look at the CME watch tool to see what the Fed is expecting. And so again, we can always gauge what people are expecting for the next Fed cycle here. Right. So we can always see what the Fed fears, right? So yeah, this number definitely went down prior to this report. About 75%, I think it was 76% of people were expecting a pause or skip, right? So 3/4 of people were expecting a pause or skip, 75%. Now it's bumped down to 68%, 68 to 32, right? So at this point in time right here, you can kind of see with this graph, at this point in time, less than 70% of people are now expecting a skip or a pause, and 32%, so this number increased, are now expecting a rate hike decision, like a raised rate. So again, if this is a pause, right? So currently we're at 525 to 550 for the federal funds rate. And so again, this is a pause. This is how many people bet on a pause. This is how many people bet on a rate hike, right? So this number grew after this report. This number went up. Why? Because more damage needs to be done with inflation, right? So if more damage needs to be done, if the market's fearing price increases, more damage needs to be done with inflation. We also saw 10-year Treasury note yield increase. It's now at 4.76%. For a little bit after this report, it ripped all the way up to 4.75. Or wait, let me see. So where is it at now? Let me see if it'll let me zoom in on this report. I wish it did. Let me see. So yeah, for a little while after this report, we priced up to 4.78%. We're back down to 4.75% yield for 10-year Treasury. But yeah, yields rose. And again, the think about it like this, right? Yields rise because they're competitive with markets. My broker told me to buy. Nobody should be telling you to buy or sell, especially ahead of these reports, because nobody knows the market response, right? And again, I told you guys this earlier. A lot of people think you can use the prelim data to gauge what the market's going to do on days like today, right? The prelim data came in much lower than expected on Wednesday, and the market ripped up, right? And so you might look at that and say, oh well, the payroll numbers are going to come in low because the prelim ones came in low, but it's just not that easy. And so in fact, we got the opposite of that just to show you how delicate it can be. So again, Wednesday we had low payroll numbers, like way lower than expected payroll numbers. The market ripped up. Today's payroll numbers, which Wednesday were prelim, today's the main non-farm ones. Today's numbers came in 2x the expected number, and that caused chaos in markets. Again, gold dumping down, S&P dumping down, Nvidia at 440, Tesla all the way down to 250. So market goes down till FOMC, then no rate hike. I don't know. It depends, man. Again, next week we got a lot of stuff going out. So next week we got CPI, PPI, jobless claims, retail sales. Like we got a lot of stuff coming out next week. So we got a bunch of stuff happening next week too. So again, the market drops CPI, PPI, FOMC minutes, earnings next week. So yeah, next week we got a lot of stuff. Yeah, we're definitely one of the top 3 analysts ever in the world right now, for sure. Definitely top 3. And again, if you want to day trade with me, try out TopStep, man. TopStep funds traders. Great way to learn how to day trade with less risk. If you lose on TopStep, it's not the end of the world. If you put the money up yourself and lose, you can lose a lot. And so just be smart and understand, like, most day traders lose. And so you can learn to day trade with your real own money and take a bunch of risk, or you can do it on a funded account program. If you lose, it's not the end of the world, but if you're good enough to pass it, you still get a lot of the rewards that you normally would. But again, I'm biased in their favor. Confirm everything I said with them first. But again, TopStep's the most legit one in the world. They've been around for over 10 years. They pay out millions and fund thousands every year. Again, you can check out the link right there. I mean, I tend to be a dip buyer. So like I always tell people this: the biggest long-term edge is on the upside. Right, so the biggest long-term edge is on the upside on the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. People always you get some people for whatever reason, man. And again, a lot of the time it's political bias or whatever. But a lot of people bet against the market long-term. Against the S&P. And individual stocks might fail, but the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, these are going to go up long-term without question. And so, you just got to understand that and not try to get too... look, corrections are going to happen. Crashes are going to happen. The market might fall. The market might dip. All that stuff could happen. But when you zoom out, the market's going to go up long term, and that's what most big banks understand, right? So you got to think about what the big banks understand. They understand that as well. And again, it got to a point where, as an example here, I saw a lot of doom and gloom crash predictors way back here, right? So way back here last year, a lot of people were predicting just this parabolic crash on the downside, all the way back here. So everybody's telling everybody the market's going to crash back here. And the banks specifically put out a bunch of marketing saying, oh, the market's going to crash, sell, 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 right? Somebody said their broker did the same thing today. They told them to buy, 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 right? And so the people who miss out on this big gain that we've made, and again, the market's still up like 7-8% this year, even with this dip, right? The market's still up 7 or 8%. The people who missed out on this are who, right? You think the banks missed out on it? Of course not. The retail traders missed out on it. Why? Because retail traders are gullible. You can talk them into whatever. You can tell them the market's going to crash. You can tell them the market's going to fly. You can tell them all these different things are going to happen, and they'll eat it up. And so you got to understand, short term, anything can happen. And again, the market was probably arguably extended leading up to this point where we're at now. But if the more you zoom out, again, the market's going to go up. And so as long as you understand that edge, I think whenever you swing trade, invest, just diversify. That's what I do. Hey, thanks so much for the donation, Buzz. Shout out to you, man. Thanks so much, dude. Appreciate the love, bro. Yeah, you guys buying right now? Are y'all buying? Let me know. Yeah, the dollar's going to be ripping, right? The dollar has an inverse correlation with the market. And so the Dixie here, if we look at the Dixie on the left side, it's going to be moving up today. It's going to be flying up because the market's flying down, right? Yeah. And again, there's a very obvious inverse correlation. Like if you look at these two, they're basically flipped, especially with big economic reports like this. They're basically flipped, right? And so again, big move up, dip, bounce, big move down, bounce, dip, right? So it's basically the same thing. It's just reversed. And this happens for a lot of reasons, right? The main one is because if your cash gains value, what are you going to do? Are you going to put it in other stuff? No, you're going to sit on your cash. Your cash is gaining value. If your cash is losing value, what are you going to do? Right? You're going to take it and stick it into other hedges for that, like real estate, gold, S&P 500, the NASDAQ, right? And so as the S&P rips up, dollar's going to fall. As the S&P rips down, the dollar's going to rip. And so that's the correlation there. And it's always kind of like that, as well as like the dollar going up is good for spending. Like more spending in payrolls is good for the dollar, obviously, and bad for inflation problems. And so that's kind of the nuance of this and why it's a little backwards. Will it continue to fall the next 2 days? Nobody knows. Next 2 days, the market's closed, but nobody knows when the market's going to come out. The data's already out, Adam. It might be right below me, right here, just a weather man. It could be like right here. You know, it might be. It might not be. I mean, you know, you never know, I guess, but it could be also right underneath me. It could be one of the reasons the market's down so much over the last 15 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. Nobody knows if the market's going to go up, down, or sideways over the next few days. I know 420 seems to be a big support level right here. And again, I think it also depends on what like Nvidia and other stuff do. Gold. All right, so again, we're right at 420, and I think 420 is a big level. It's a whole dollar, but it's also a lot of other stuff too. And so it's also what I mean by a lot of other stuff is it's confirmed support at this point in time. So, all right, team. Still got 30 minutes here, 30 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to hold. I don't know. I'm saying it's a support level I'm going to pay attention to. If we break underneath it, I'm going to look for it to turn into resistance. Yeah, a lot of people waiting. Tesla's weak from news. Yeah, Tesla's down because they raised or they cut prices on their two most popular models. And so yeah, Tesla's down a lot. Yeah, I mean, listen, again, Thomas, we can talk about politics if it's market related, you know, and so it's okay if it's market related. I'm not sure if what you said was market related or not. I'm really not sure. What I will say is like everything shouldn't be rooted in politics. So, you know, like again, it's not like it's fine to cover news politically, but if we're rooting for one side, you know, or the other, then, you know, then it's wrong. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I'm pretty neutral though. And again, whichever side you're on, it's all love here. I'm just not a big politics guy, man. I see like friends, family just get so wrapped up in it, dude. They just get so wrapped up in it, and like they're rooting for it, like, and I'm just not. I got better stuff to do. I'm interested in other stuff besides that, man. Is this non-farm data good or bad? Well, it's definitely bad, I would say. Again, what do you guys think? Do you think this non-farm data was good or bad, chat? I think it's probably bad, right? It's probably not good. Market responded in such a way too. So, is market closed Monday? What is Monday? What's Monday? Yeah, if you were short it, good. Yeah, bad. Yeah, I would say it's bad for the... I don't think it's good for the economy necessarily. I think it scares people, this stuff. What do you think about gold? I think gold's pulling back a lot, especially with this latest report. But I like gold. Gold is one of the best long-term. Gold is one of the best performing assets long-term. If you look at what gold has, right? Gold is about 6x. I think it might have pulled back a little bit, but gold is like 5 or 6x over the last 20 to 25 years. I think, right? I'll have to check this, but I think gold is 6x. When you compare that to like the SPY or the S&P, it's up about 4. So S&P 500 20-year has 4x'd. It's gone up 4 times what it was 20 years ago. Gold has 6x, I believe, right? So let's look at gold, right? So gold, put it up on the left side of the screen here. Here's the gold futures contract. We look at this long term. If we zoom all the way back to, let's use 2000 as the gauge, right? So 280 is what I'm showing, 280. Now if we divide that by what we're currently at, which is about 1830 divided by 280. Yeah, gold is 6.5x since 2000. 6.5x. So it's gone up 6 times. And that's why I always tell people, like, sitting on cash is a bad move most of the time. If you're holding it very long term, sitting on cash is a bad move. If you're holding short term, it's arguable. But, you know, again, let's look at the SPY, and we can look at the same thing on the S&P. Not the SPY, but the S&P 500. Right? So we can look at the S&P and go back to 2000. And see, in 2000, the S&P was at about 1260. We'll call it 1250. Where's the S&P right now? S&P's at 4250s. Divided by, where did we say it was? In 2000, 1250. Yeah, so the S&P is 3.4x over the last 23, 24 years. And so again, gold has done twice as well as the S&P 500, right? And so gold volatile short term, but in terms of like keeping up with inflation, for lack of a better comparison, it's the gold standard for keeping up with inflation, pun intended. And so yeah, 3.4x. And so that's why sitting on cash is usually a mistake. Long term, short term, do what you want. But here's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ down pretty heavily on this stuff too. I mean, market definitely did not like this report, Sammy, mostly from payroll numbers coming in sky high. Yeah, I always tell people this, like, if I had to hold stuff long term, if I had to buy something and hold for 20 years, I would diversify into the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, real estate, gold, silver, maybe some crypto, and I'll just sit on that. You know, maybe bonds. I'd probably throw some bonds in there too. Bonds are guaranteed money, right? So bonds are guaranteed money. All right, so again, SPY starting to pop back. Still over 420s, and we told you guys this was probably a pretty major level. We should get capitulation within 2 weeks according to seasonality. Maybe. All right, guys, getting a little dip. Still got time, but I don't like this chop. I wouldn't say it's chop, man. I mean, again, the market dipped a lot, so I wouldn't say it's chop. I mean, it's down. I mean, we're sideways now after this, but and again, I think we could have reacted worse than this. Yeah, so job numbers unexpectedly surged. They grew by 336,000. Twice what analysts expected. Again, analysts expected much less than that 170K. Yeah, so Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says that he has a plan to lock home loans in at 3% for the first-time home buyers, lowering your mortgage payments by $1,000 a month. You guys think so? What do you guys think? Yeah, Tesla is still sitting over. I mean, Tesla's still sitting up. Okay, it's not that bad. Tesla's already down a lot though, so it's gonna react negatively to this. But it was already down a lot, so Tesla's having a pretty bad day based off of both the payroll numbers as well as the price cuts in their most popular models. Yeah, I mean it's a weird market right now. Again, we talked about it before, but rent is higher. Rent is less than mortgage payments right now, which is not the norm. So typically the value of buying versus renting is that you're going to be able to buy your home. Yes, you're going to have to put up more money to buy it. Yes, you're going to have to build your credit. Yes, you're going to have more conditions that are met. But your mortgage payment will ultimately be less than you're paying in rent, right? So you're going to save money in terms of what you're paying, and you're not going to actually own your home. That's the conventional appeal of mortgaging a house and buying a home versus renting. Right now, the market's backwards, right? Right now, it costs way more to buy a house than it does because of such high interest rates than it does to rent. That's a weird market, man. That's a weird market. And of course, you ask mortgage brokers, they're going to just constantly tell you to buy. But like, yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, but that's what he's saying. Yeah, Pepsi earnings will be interesting. I mean, they're not going to be a big influence. We just got much bigger things going on. So again, Elon says, I think Pepsi is going to have earnings next Tuesday. Will be something to watch. Yeah, I mean, again, Pepsi will be interesting. We're going to cover it, right? But just to put this into perspective, next week, man, we got a lot of stuff next week, like a lot of stuff, right? So we got a gang of stuff to come out next week in terms of the economy. Again, to put it into perspective, right? So if we look at this, next week, we've got PPI Wednesday, jobless claims and CPI Thursday, bank earnings Friday. We have the FOMC minutes report, which is the FOMC minutes report is going to be Monday. We got Barr and Jefferson speaking on bank regulation and the economy. Waller speaking Tuesday. Fireside chat. Okay, so yeah, Wednesday we have both PPI, the FOMC minutes report. So Monday, Tuesday might be slower, right? But Wednesday we've got PPI, FOMC minutes report. Thursday we have CPI, which is the biggest inflation metric release that we can see, aside from maybe PCE, but it's CPI gets more views and more eyes on it. And then we also have earnings season starting next week as well, which I'm excited about, right? So earnings season starts next week. We got Applied Digital Corporation starting Monday. Tuesday we get Pepsi earnings. So we'll cover Pepsi for sure. And then Wednesday we get all that other stuff. The big earnings that really come out next week, though. Next week's the start of earnings season. I call it the start of earnings season because if you look at Thursday afternoon, we get Delta Airline, or no, if we look at Thursday morning, which is when CPI comes out as well, we get Delta, Walgreens, Domino's earnings, and then Friday we get big ones, banks specifically, right? So Friday we get JP Morgan, BLK, so BlackRock, JP Morgan, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, PNC Financial, and Progressive all Friday for earnings. And so that's going to be a big influence in volatility starter in markets. Look at the SPY bouncing up though. SPY at 421s now. And so next week's a very busy week. What's it this week? Not enough stress. I'm ready for the volatility though, man. If interest rates drop to 3%, the market would fly. Maybe Johan. Yeah, Tesla earnings are going to be the big kickoff. Again, SPY starting to bounce up a little bit now, though. So look at the SPY bounce. So the S&P is bouncing back up some. All right, so the secured overnight financing rate was flat at 5.32% as of today, or as of yesterday. Look at Tesla bounce back. Look at the SPY bounce back. So we are getting some increases back in the S&P. Still under the volume weighted average price, though, for the SPY. Yeah, the payroll numbers are never right. I agree with you there. They're very, very, very rarely correct in terms of their expectations. I think my mortgage is lower than 3%. It doesn't matter. Oh, it definitely matters. I mean, it definitely matters, right? I mean, you're going to pay twice as much now versus a few years ago. And so that just, again, convention-wise, we're not at the highest interest rates we've ever been or anything like that. In the 80s, we had crazy numbers. But I think when you look back at the last 20 years, people are used to 2-3% now. You know what I mean? Like people are used to 2-3%. You know, so people are used to lower numbers right now. You know. Again, earnings season. Earnings season is going to be a big influence over stuff too. And again, they start next week, followed by the week after this. So right, that's next week. The week after is where big boys come out for earnings with Schwab. We've got like a bunch of other stuff too. All right, guys. So yeah, sorry, Carol came in here. Hey, thanks so much. Thanks, man. John, you are awesome. Thanks for your energy. Thanks, man. Again, Nvidia's still over 440s. SPY bouncing back a little bit though, because it could have been worse. Still red though, pretty red on the day. Again, payroll numbers. Nobody wants to see that high payroll numbers. Tesla's already down so much. Is it time to buy the dip in Tesla? I'm not sure, man. They're down so much already. You know, the 253s. You know, I mean, Tesla was at 230s a couple of weeks ago. So the data didn't come out good. You can hear my wife letting the dogs out. All right, so again, we'll see if we can get back over VWAP here. All right, testing the VWAP now. Look at Tesla rise back up. So again, markets are starting to bounce back up a little bit. We still have about 18 minutes until the market opens. All right, we're gonna get ready to trade some futures today. Haven't really traded a ton today. I wanted the latest data to drop first. And again, shout out to Chart Prime, man, because like, look, so people can say whatever they want about Chart Prime. I used a bunch of these different indicators. Like, look, they called both of these. They called both the dip and the bounce, right? So like, look, so Chart Prime, the Market Oracle will give you these reversal signals. So like they'll give you these reversal signals here, and then the Market Oracle Pro will give you these buy or sell signals, right? The regular Market Oracle will also give you these engulfing candles. And I always tell people, like, look, on the regular Market Oracle, if you can find a reversal signal and then a one or two bullish engulfing candles, the likelihood of a bounce back a decent amount is very, very high. You know, and look at the sell signal here with the bearish engulfing candles. A lot of the time I use candlestick patterns to influence sentiment, right? So it's like, look at these engulfing candles, engulfing candle, and then look at the big dip. Even before the major drop, it still followed through there. And so again, you can keep going back and look at how accurate these are. These can be powerful, man. Again, you can also put up chart patterns. You could also put up chart patterns, but again, check this out. Like, again, if you can be patient and you can set alerts on TradingView as well. This is a TradingView indicator service you can use in stocks, crypto, Forex, futures. If you can set alerts, which you can here, I set alerts, so it alerts me when this stuff happens. Reversal down signal and a bunch of bearish engulfing candles. Look at this. Nice drop. Again, this one literally called the top as well. So again, I can't fake this. It's $40 a month right now, or roughly $40 a month. So you can get it for 40% off, roughly $40 a month if you use my link. Again, great way to help support the channel. And again, just genuinely useful. I can't guarantee you're going to make money. Nobody can. But it can be powerful, to be honest. Can be powerful. So again, if you want to check them out, here is the link. 40% off. Hey, thanks, Kay. Thanks so much. All right, so again, we're still testing the volume weighted average price. Yeah, Carol came in and said Rosie had diarrhea. Never good, you know. Diarrhea is never good, especially on dogs. Dog diarrhea, the worst thing ever. What do we have this weekend, man? Do we have UFC fights this weekend? It's not that. I mean, Bobby Green versus Grant Dawson, just not the biggest card, to be honest. We got Jack Quinn Buckley. That'll be a good fight. Drew Dober fighting Alex Hernandez. He's boring. Ooh, we got Ion Kutalaba. He's fun to watch. Bunch of no names. Sometimes these are the best cards, though. No, Rosie, my German Shepherd. This is Rosie right here. This is Rosie right here. Hey, what's up, DC? John, you're not taking any trades. I'll take trades. I'm avoiding trading right now in pre-market is what I'm doing. So like I'm just not trading as much right now in pre. And again, remember that reversal signal I showed you on chart prime? Like look at how much the reversal signal showed up on chart prime way back here on the E-mini. So again, this is a 5-minute chart, right? So the reversal signal on chart prime showed up here. Technically, the reversal signal showed here, right? And so look at this. Still moving up too. And I hope the market continues to bounce back. Again, SPY back over VY, back up to basically 422s. Looking a lot better than it did, for sure. Looking a lot better than it did. Again, this is a 5-minute chart, though. And so we'll see if we get some better action here. But, you know, we're basically filled about half the gap on the downside. Yeah, we're going to trade. We're just going to trade the open. We're going to get ready to trade some futures. Let me pull up my futures platform now, too. Yeah, the oscillator is really nice. If I lose money, I'm going to start making YouTube videos about asking random people, what do you do for a living? You know, like, listen, I'm okay with people doing that. Like make your money, like do your business, right? Like I'm okay with that. My problem, like the biggest problem that I got, right, is I got a problem with the people that go around donating money to people. And I'm okay if they do that. Like, listen, you want to go around donating money to somebody, fine. But if somebody tells you they don't want it and that they don't want to be in the video, like, again, especially if it's for like $100, you know, that's the problem I have. Because again, like they act like they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart, but what they're really doing is they're putting those people on the internet. And so they should pay them money because they're throwing them on the freaking internet. You know, it's like, look, if they weren't putting it on the internet and they were just giving them money, fine. Like you should never get mad at that. But if you're videotaping them and you got a camera in their face and you're saying, hey, you know, and then you're going to act like people are ungrateful. It's like, dude, you're trying to throw them on the freaking internet, man. Like, of course they're mad. I'd be mad too if somebody tried to throw me on the internet. I mean, maybe not. Listen, you can throw me on the internet. Give me a plug, you know, but still. All right, so here's the Euro FX. This is what a lot of people don't understand. So again, here's the SPY. Here's the E-mini in futures. All right, so here we go. Getting ready to trade today. Probably Brave. Yeah, you probably need. It's like $2 a month for me though. Definitely selling into the open. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see a lot of these look the same. Like this chart looks the same as this chart, looks the same as this chart. So a lot of stuff looks the same, which is everything reacted pretty negatively to the payroll data. And since then, we've basically found a bottom and bounced back. This looks like a rug pull, maybe. I mean, Dom, I mostly just report economic reports. Like we trade, but yeah, we definitely have sponsors as well. I mean, anybody on YouTube's gonna have sponsors. Expecting nobody to have sponsors is not a reasonable expectation. You know, I said this yesterday, and I'll say it again. I'd trust somebody more if they were honest and just said, "Hey, I'm doing this to make money," just like anybody else. Like I'm not spending 4 hours here for nothing. You know, and so anybody that tries to claim they're here just to help people, or they just like helping people, they just like teaching people, is what they'll say, right? No, man, they're in this to make money. 100%, they're in this to make money, right? And again, I'd rather just be real with you guys and say I'm absolutely here to make money. but I'm providing value as well. Like we mostly cover economic reports. You know, when we get 1,000+ people here when they drop, because we cover it quickly, and so we provide a service. You know, just like anything else. But we don't sell a course. I don't even claim to be a good trader. I don't claim to be an expert. I don't act like a guru. I don't charge for content whatsoever. And so, I remember one time the CPI came bad and it was down greater than 1.5%, and they went opposite to positive. Yeah, I mean, for sure, markets can certainly fluctuate. Yeah, 100%. I mean, you got some people like most of the time they're just mad anytime anybody makes money, right? They're more frustrated and unhappy with themselves, and so they just kind of lash out and get mad at anybody that makes money. And what you don't realize is like that's never going to make anybody successful, right? That's just sitting around crying, you know. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're going to spin it positively. Again, they're going to try to, because again, conventionally these payroll numbers are good, right? So like conventionally these numbers are like if these numbers drop in a non-inflation fearing market, everybody would love it, right? This would probably cause big bursts of increases in markets, but because the market's so much fearing inflation, because the Fed skipped or paused during this last cycle, because the market fears inflation so much, yeah, that's not what we're getting. We're just getting negative responses here. Good day, sir. Yeah. Carvana, man, Carvana's had a crazy year though, dude. And so again, Carvana has had a crazy year. I remember Carvana. A lot of people thought this was gonna fail. It was at like 350 back in December of last year. You missed payroll numbers coming out, scaring everybody. All right, guys, we got 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Again, hit that sub button, hit the notification bell. Thanks so much. We appreciate the love. Envy is definitely real, man. Yeah, dude, you realize very quick, bro. Like people are very rarely happy for you, man. You know, like even friends, family, like some of them just get weird, dude. Again, I started creating a standard for myself where it's like if my friends aren't celebrating my wins, if they're resentful or bitter or whatever it is, they're not my friends. You know, and some people are just like that. Like it is what it is. I understand other people though. Like some people are just genuinely struggling, and so it kind of hurts to. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no matter what you do. Again, what I've learned is like you got some people that are truly happy for you. A lot of people aren't though, man. A lot of people are just mad, and it is what it is, you know. Nah, I don't know about online friends. You just what I will say, you got to just be careful who you let in your circle, dude. Um, like I always told Carol never to tell anybody about this YouTube channel publicly because like I've met people and then they find out about this YouTube channel and like all of a sudden they want to be a co-host or like they want to, you know, they want to shout out. They want me to sell their NFTs, you know, and then when I don't, it sparks like resentment, you know. Um, and so eventually you learn to just people ask me what I do, and I number one, like I do other stuff outside of this, like I program and I'm a real estate agent, and so like I do a bunch of other stuff too. But you learn very quickly to just keep your circle small, man. Now Tesla's still up to 254, testing the volume weighted average price now. We still got 3 minutes left until the market opens. 3 minutes, team. Yeah, just be careful with the open. Volatility might be high. Yeah, I mean, I got some good friends, man, that like I've got my best friend who I want to work with, right? Like I'm pressuring him to work with me, and he knows he could probably make money working with me doing stuff, right? But he always refuses. He just says, "Nah, man, I don't want to do it." And maybe he's just not interested in markets. Uh, but I think it's more so that he doesn't want to mix business with family because, like, while he could make money, he understands that can damage friendships, right? And I respect that even more about him not wanting to work with me. I can appreciate that, you know. All right, guys. Hey, we got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. Tesla's starting to push back over the volume weighted average price. Again, the E-mini has basically given back about half those gains. John, would you rather have 100 mil and be famous or 50 mil and be anonymous? 50. 50 is more than you ever need. You take 50, you put 25 into investments. You buy real estate, gold, S&P 500, NASDAQ, bonds, and you sit on that, and that'll turn into way more in 20 years. And then you just kind of live off the rest, do whatever you want. Again, we got to pull back on the SPY at 422s, Tesla at 254s. Let's see the VWAP here. The VWAP, the volume weighted average price, about 422 roughly on the SPY here. So we'll see if we hold that spot. Again, another one to watch is NVIDIA. NVIDIA is a heavily weighted stock that moves a lot with markets. Yeah, the 10-year is spiking. It's at 4.84%. Look at the 10-year right now. 10 years at 4.84%. Crazy high. Crazy high. All right, guys. So again, we got less than a minute. We got about 10 seconds left until the market opens. Good luck, team. Hey, buddy. How you doing, man? All right, here's the opening bell. There's the opening bell. Coca-Cola's been down a lot. The reason it's down is because of some type of weight loss drug by Walmart saying that it might reduce sales, is what they're saying. It's something like that, right? I can't remember exactly what it was, but again, E-mini bouncing small at the opening bell so far. Tesla struggling. NVIDIA bouncing up to 444s. A lot of stuff's down right now, though. Again, and here's the opening bell. Be safe today, guys. Again, NVIDIA spiking to 443s. Tesla bouncing up to 254s. Okay, gotcha, Cal. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that something like that was making Coca-Cola drop. Again, NVIDIA testing the 200 EMA right now. Tesla's still rising up after a big pullback this morning and yesterday from price cuts in their two most popular models for Tesla. Again, NVIDIA up to 445s. Again, NVIDIA still popping up over the 200 EMA. Tesla bouncing up as well to 255s over the 200 EMA there. Got some bounce backs and stuff since the opening bell, which is interesting. And again, it doesn't mean much yet. We're still pretty early into the opening bell. A lot of people think a sell-off is still coming. And again, we bounced back about halfway relative to the big dip we've taken from payroll and unemployment numbers, guys. We bounced back about halfway, about 50% back up. I don't know if it's a bull trap or not. Yeah, we're looking at bonds too. And again, you can kind of see bonds right here. Bonds at 4.83%, which is crazy high. No, it's still pretty early, Gino. All right, so we got a little bounce up at the opening bell. Tesla still testing the 200 EMA. NVIDIA back over it. NVIDIA is the one to watch, team. Again, NVIDIA at 445s. NVIDIA is a big influence over markets because of the craziness from the AI boom it's had over this year. All right, NVIDIA testing that previous level up there, rejecting a little bit. Watch the S&P 500 forming like a small U-shaped breakout over the last like 8-9 minutes. All right, so there's the E-mini pushing up more. Tesla starting to dive, though. This might drag the markets down. Look at Tesla fall. We got to watch Apple. Yeah, oil's been falling, though. Yeah, Apple pushing up a little bit. Apple's basically at 175. Microsoft's ripping up as well. It's at 320s. Google's ripping up as well. Meta's pushing up also. NVIDIA's pushing up. So, again, tech stocks rising. Tesla falling still, but tech stocks are rising. Yeah, I don't know. The NASDAQ and the E-mini are basically moving up because tech stocks are bouncing is what this is. Is AMC doing good? I hope it does, man. Yeah, AMC up to 850s. That's great. Let's see if it continues. A lot of bounce back since the opening bell. E-mini still struggling to get back up there. Tesla back up to 255s. Again, let's see if NVIDIA bounces. I haven't traded a lot today, guys. Again, I don't trust the market right now. In terms of like potential price action on the upside or downside. I just don't trust it right now. I think there's too much prime for a reversal here with how bad payroll numbers were. I'm going to short the market a little bit right here. We got one contract. There we go. All right, so we just made $50 shorting in our funded account. Just made about 50 on our funded account. Make sure this is the right funded account. Okay. I got a little cushion. Shorting a little bit more. I just think we can give back some. We got a cushion on the day now too, on this count. I'm going to short a little bit more. I think I'm pretty bearish here. I think we've bounced back too much relative to what the payroll numbers came in at. All right, so we're bouncing back a little bit. I'm going to get ready to cut this. There we go. Flush. There we go. I just took half off again. We're up about 100 on the day now. Building up a cushion so we can take larger risks here. I see a lot of stuff coming back, so I'm going to short a little bit more into this. There we go. Took another half off there. We're up about 140. All right, so we just locked in. We're up about 150 on the day. You can kind of see this here. Put in a thesis, and that thesis seemed to be correct. Again, I'm gonna short it some more. I could have just stayed in one, but again, goal is to build up a cushion. I just locked in another $100 in profit. We are up about 250 on the day, about 250 in profit on the day so far. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying thesis. What I really mean is it's just an expression. What I mean is that I'm creating a logic-based trade, um, and in this logic-based trade, I thought that we were up too much based off of what payroll numbers were, and with that, I thought this bounce back was too big, and so in that regard, my bias was inherently short, and so we started shorting, and we were able to make money at the opening bell based off of that logic. And I think the logic was correct. I think most other people had the same logic, and so a lot of the time in trading, you're kind of trying to ride with the trend. You are trying to figure out what everybody else is doing. I'm going to short into this again, too. We've got a big cushion on the day, so we can take much larger risks now. Maybe add some more if it bounces up. If not, we'll just stay in this and build up some more cushion. There we go. I just made about another $125 or so. You can kind of see that here. We're up about 380. Slow gains. I mean, we were right. I mean, again, this is what we said. We thought this would happen, and that's exactly what we got. Yeah, there's the market turning. And again, we're on a funded account program in futures. And so again, what we're trading on is a mix of a funded account mixed with a combine account. So we've got multiple, right? So we've been funded in multiple different accounts. We're pushing towards getting it funded in the next, and we're already currently funded in another one, right? And so what they do, it's a great way if you don't have that much equity, if you don't have that much money, which is a problem most traders find themselves in when they want to day trade specifically. Number one, cash accounts suck. You're not going to have any freedom to day trade. You're not going to have any freedom to day trade the symbols you want. And most pro day traders trade futures for a reason, because there's no PDT rule. You can day trade short in futures without restriction. And Top Step's the most legit funded program in futures in the world. You can day trade the SPY. You can essentially, in what's called the E-mini in futures, you can day trade the Q. In what's called the NASDAQ in futures, you can day trade currencies, gold, silver. Patterns move very similar to large cap stocks. Like look at Tesla. It basically did the same thing. Look at NVIDIA. It basically did the same thing that this did today, right? So you can get exposure to day trading stocks with less risk. And the base compound on Top Step's $49. Again, they give you a demo. They test your skill. If you can hit the target on the demo while following their rules and without hitting the max loss, they fund you the same amount, right? So the base one's $50K. It's only $49. If you pass it, you get $50K in funding with a 90% split, and they pay out millions, fund thousands of traders every single year. They pay out millions in actual withdrawals every year. So the most legit way to learn how to day trade with less risk. If you lose, it's not the end of the world, but if you're good enough to pass it, again, you keep 90% of your profit anyway, and your first 10K. And so it's kind of the best of both worlds, where you're basically getting the same type of split you would, or you're getting, in terms of if you're good enough, you're getting the same thing you would if you put the money up yourself with just much less risk, right? And I think that makes perfect sense for traders learning how to day trade, as well as if you're good enough and just don't have the equity. I think that makes sense. But they are a sponsor of mine. I'm definitely biased in their favor because they pay me money, and I'm always honest and transparent about that. If you want to check out the link, there it is right there. Yeah, we've been funded in multiple account stacks at this point in time, right, so we got a little pop back up. I want a short, but I'm going to take one contract. I don't want to take more than this. And again, we've got a big cushion on the day too, so we just got to cut it if it turns too much against this. But hopefully it breaks down and it runs down and it's another green trade. You know, we haven't had one losing trade today. Hopefully I don't jinx it here. No losses yet today. You can see my win-loss ratio is effectively 0 right now because we haven't lost yet. And that's out of a bunch of trades too. So if we lose here, it's not the end of the world, I guess. All right, we're going to fix our average a little bit. Flush down. There we go. All right, we just took half off right there real quick because we can. And that way we protect ourselves a little bit into the cushion that we have on the day. And we can let the rest work and not be super concerned with it if it doesn't work. I don't like that candle. I see stuff trying to bounce back, but I like my entry here. I think my entry is very good because it's right around break even. And it's kind of a make or break it level on the chart. So if we push too much over this, I can comfortably get out without worrying. But if we break down, then we can capitalize on it. There we go. I just made another 100. Again, just kind of slow and steady. Again, no losses. I guess it counted that first one as a loss. But again, we ended up making it way back on the other one. Again, you can kind of see our win-loss ratio today is 7-1. We've taken 16 total trades, so about 8 round trips. Have made money on almost all of them. About 5 on the day. Got a nice little cushion to keep pushing. Bars. Yeah, non-farm payrolls are out. They came in much worse than expected, much higher than expected. Yeah, definitely top 2. Yeah, non-fars. Hey, John, I know you say you're not an expert. Then why you say that? But I feel like you should give yourself some credit. I mean, I'm all right. Again, I mean, you got to think about it. Like, look. You know, when I created this channel, right, the reason I named it this was because I didn't want to be an expert guru selling signals, selling courses, you know, basically selling my soul to make more money. I would rather just be real about everything, you know. And so I'm not claiming to be profitable. I'm not claiming to be a good trader. I don't sell a course. I don't sell signals myself, at least. I don't charge for any content. We give everything away for free. I'm not even really like, a lot of times people who want to criticize me, they compare me to other day trading channels, or they can compare me to other day traders. And it's like, look, I'm just a broad market channel. You know, I don't want to be a day trading guru. You know, I think there's enough of them out there already. You know, and again, the problem with telling people you're so great is that you end up needing to like, yeah, you end up getting pressured to fudge your numbers. And so I'd rather just tell people I don't know, you know. Now we do a little bit at first. It depends, Lauren. So if we build up a cushion first, then we scale up our size. All right, big bounce back here, big pop back. All right, so we're already back up to basically the high of the last hour or so. Again, my hands are off now. Am I allowed to say ripping up? Dude, you know, the chat gets weird. Again, the only people that really get weird when I say ripping are people that are net short, right? If you're net short and I say, hey, this is ripping up, You know, you're gonna be like, nah, man, like you're just gonna be mad about it. That's what you're gonna say. That's not ripping. You know, how dare you say that? But no, those are the only people that really get mad. Anybody else is gonna understand it's subjective. Like my definition of ripping might be 10 cents. Your definition of ripping might be $5 a share. You know, so it varies. It's subjective interpretation. Nvidia dumping down under 443. I better watch. People might get mad at me saying dumping down. Nvidia falling down under the volume weighted average price down to 442s. This should drag the market down as well. As look at Tesla fall down as well. So Tesla, Nvidia both dipping, not ripping, dipping down. Apple's a little bit more red since the opening bell. Microsoft still doing okay though, testing the top. Very sideways day, you know, all things considered. I mean, funded, you can't trade. You can only trade index. You can only trade futures in funded accounts. It's bad, and there's no stock futures. You can day trade the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq and what's called the E-mini and the Nasdaq and the NQ, but it's not actual. I mean, it depends. Your platform. I'm using Quant Tower. This is Quant Tower platform, you know, and so. Yeah, so this is Quant Tower. So like, but the platform's up to you, man. You can use TradingView. All right, so again, we're up 500 on the day right now. I don't know what I want to do, man. I could either take much larger risk, or I can just kind of ride off into the sunset green on the day. And I don't know what I want to do yet. Tesla looking weak. Nvidia looking weak too. I'm pretty sure you can, Eric's, but it just depends on where you are, brother. But again, if you want to check it out, here's the link. Did I post it above? How long ago did I post it? Okay, yeah, check out the link in the description if you want. It depends on what country, but most countries can. Hey, later day. I mean, I think this looks short, but I think with the triple top there, I'm going to short this, but I'm also kind of skeptical of the continued breakdown. But we got a cushion on the day, so we can play with this. And if it rips up too much, we'll just be okay with that. And if it breaks down enough, we can take that too. Very close to cutting this. We're down 75 bucks. Yeah, I should have. All right, so we got out. Now we're only up about 400 on the day, 375. And so we'll chill now and just wait. Friday, you know. All right. Well, market's starting to fall down a little bit. A part of me wanted to short, but I guess I just should have waited. It depends on which account. So we started to crack lows and then bounced up a little bit. Yeah, I think the market kind of looks weak. I think anything can freaking happen here, and like, you know. It's also in a kind of a neutral range here too, man. Nasdaq's so volatile today too. See if we flush down some more. Watching Nvidia close here. Market looks like it wants to bounce up, but anything can happen. I'm gonna settle. See what happens to the volume weighted average price here for a lot of these. A lot of these are right around the volume weighted average price. So we'll see if that like rejects it or what happens here with this. Kind of a big level, big movement here if it could hold. I think I also got funded. Sorry, I've been trading this other account in the background, so I'm pretty sure I just got funded on another account with Top Step. You love to see it. If you want to see the account growth on this one today, or if you want to see the full account growth. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I just got funded on another account from Top Step. I think I started it this month, and so I'm pretty sure I got funded in what 3 days on this one. Okay, this month. Okay, so we started. Let me see when I got funded, man. It's somewhere close. Let's go back to September 25th and see if I got it here. Caught the NASDAQ here. Sorry, I've been mostly trading the NASDAQ short. Yeah, the problem with quant towers is that sometimes the P&L graphs are not accurate. So So like they fluctuate too much. But I'm pretty sure we just got funded on another one. I'm trying to let the trade load, but point is, I can show you the actual stats of it. Okay, so here's October in the actual funded account, right? So if you want to see my actual October stats, so this is the last 6 days. I'm not sure when I started trading it. I can look at my actual Top Step stats to see this one though. And so yeah, I started the day off. Wow. Okay, so I've had 100% winning days in this one. So again, I started the day off here, right? And so I started the day off here in terms of stats, right? So this is the one I just got funded in, right? The account I just got funded in. I started off here in terms of stats. We had it up to $51,706. Our best day, we made about 1,000. Our worst day, we only made about 200, but we hadn't had any losing days yet. Like if you look at my graph, this account we started trading this account on September 25th, right? So September 25th is when we started trading it. So let's look at the life of this one. And again, we just now today broke over 53K. So we're at 53.169 thousand today. And we started trading it September 25th. We just hadn't traded it that much. But like, here's the actual graph on the 50K combine. So it took us 4 days to get funded on this one. You know, we had 100% winning day accuracy in this account. And again, we just build up a cushion and then take larger swings. You know, and so again, one thing that is really, this is my actual full stats here. We mostly trade the E-mini and the NASDAQ. But here's my full stats here. So my average profitability per trade was actually only $74 prior to today. But after today, it's going to be higher. We made 78% winning trades. Our average winning trade was almost twice as much as our average losing trade. Here's our average losing trade. Here's our average winning trade. And so pretty solid here. We'll take it. Again, I'm trying to pull up my graph. Quant Tower, the only problem with Quant Tower is their graphing is not the best, right? So again, we can try to do custom. We started at September 25th, right? But we'll do until today. Problem is it just takes so long to load. But yeah, we are funded in this account now. We are going to be funded now, so that's cool. So that's our 3rd funded account in the last couple months. Here we go. So for whatever reason, it's not showing all of the gains. But again, you can kind of see this is the graph that led up to it. And again, I only take swings, like a very simple strategy for these funded account programs. I build up a cushion. If I have a cushion, I take larger risk. If I don't have a cushion, I don't. And yeah, pretty simple. I build up a small cushion on the day first. If I do, I take larger risk. If I don't, then, you know, then we don't trade large and we just kind of wait until a better day to swing large. And that way, whenever we have winning days, it's big wins, but we have losing days, it's small losses. And again, if you want to join me, check out Top Step's funded account program. Link is in the description if you want to check it out. Great way to help support the channel. You get the base combine for $49. We'll pop this link up here as well. Also, again, check out Chart Prime. Chart Prime is another reason I've been, you know, hitting some of these results. Again, one of the things I really wait for is one of the things I truly wait for is I always try to wait for, let me make sure this doesn't pop up here. Hold on one second. Let me fix this real quick. Shave the beard, man. Look at my beard. It's looking scruffy. Rough. All right, there we go. But yeah, one of the things I always shoot for here is one of the things I always shoot for is I look for reversal signals and bullish engulfing candles that show up. I'm kind of a broken record with this, right? If I can find this, boom, you know, powerful. Again, if you look for a reversal signal, this is the regular market oracle. It's like $40 a month right now. You know, here's the sell signal and engulfing candle. So a lot of like my strategy is looking for engulfing candles that show up on the chart. Like, look, here's a bunch of engulfing candles and then a sell signal, boom. And so again, you can kind of rinse and repeat that type of stuff on Chart Prime, but it's a trading view indicator service. Look, you can use, I could put up chart patterns, oscillators, smart money concepts, market dynamics, you know, and zoom out. And there's just so many like things they give you here for this, right? Look at the chart patterns show up. I can get smart money. This is too much. Like I don't ever put all of them up at once, but like you can use a mix of everything and they're constantly adding new stuff here. And it's like $40 a month. And so again, if you haven't already checked them out, great way to help support the channel. Again, they are a sponsor of mine, and so I'm definitely biased in their favor because again, they pay me money. But yeah, if you want to check them out, you can also just link this here, right? So you can also just click that promo code right there and get 40% off. It's like $40 a month or something like that. But yeah, guys, with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and close it down for the day. Hope you guys did better. Hopefully you guys did as well as I did today. It's a pretty good day on my end. And so but yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Y'all have a safe and happy weekend. Again, funded on another account. I'll take that. Hopefully you guys have a good day. Very choppy action right now in the market anyway. And so it's just kind of boring right now. Not a lot of stuff going on. And so appreciate the love and support, guys. Thanks so much. And yeah, let's keep the growth up. Y'all be safe. I'll see you guys a little bit later. Y'all be good. Hopefully you guys do as well as I did today in markets. Equities market could look better though. The equities market is not looking good at all. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Later, team.